Hey, Cal Ewing here in snowy Calgary, unusually cold in October. Today I'm going to talk more about non-performing mortgage notes and the exit strategies where you can take a non-performing note, which is a mortgage where the borrower has stopped paying for a certain amount of time, buy that mortgage note at a discount. Like we're talking a big discount, sometimes 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar sometimes. So you're buying a mortgage note where the borrower is not paying at a discount and then turning it into a very nice cash flowing asset in your portfolio. So you're creating basically a stream of passive income that once you buy that note and get servicing on it and get the borrower paying again, you don't have to do much and you've got a monthly cash flow source coming in. Okay. So the main reason you'd want to buy a non-performing note instead of a performing one is because of that big discount, because you can jack up your return on investment quite a bit if you can get the borrower back on track paying. Okay. So the easiest, exit strategy where you're working with the borrower is maybe they've gone through some troubles in the past and that caused them to not be able to make mortgage payments on their loan. But that's all behind them now. So it's not common, or not uncommon, to see people that had health issues. It cost them a lot of money, or a family member that had health issues, and so they had to go and put all their income into medical bills and that kind of thing. And now they've resolved that problem, and they're back on track. They can make money on their or make payments on their mortgage, but now they're way behind, right? So sometimes it's really easy to just get the borrower back on track. You just contact them and help them pay off the balance that's owed and get them paying again. So it can be really easy for them to just reinstate the mortgage. So that's what we all hope for, but it's not usually the case. Okay. The most common situation is when the borrower's in trouble. Maybe they lost their job and they've just recently got back a new job, or like I said, health issues, whatever it might be. Now they're a widow or widower, but they have the ability now to get back on track. It's taken them a long time, but if you're willing to work with them, you might be able to get them paying again and help them avoid a foreclosure. Okay, that's the main goal. Is we want to help people be able to save their home, be able to stay in their home, but we want them to obviously, pay on their mortgage. They made the obligation. They're obligated to make a payment, make their monthly payments, and meet the terms of the mortgage note. That's what they signed up for originally, and you're buying that piece of paper, that IOU, that mortgage note, expecting them to be able to honor that. Okay. So how can we help them? Well, we can actually work with them. We call them up, we get their story, figure out what their troubles are, whether their hardship is. Are they having trouble making the payments? Are they just having trouble getting it back current again? The payments maybe aren't a problem, but they've dug themselves 6 month hole of missed payments and they don't know how to get out of that. So you want to listen to their story and try to figure out what their situation is so that you can hopefully come up with a solution to help them. Okay. And then once you get their story, you can work with them to get them paying again and put them on what's called a trial payment plan. All right. So you can say to them, like, look, if we can get you paying again, it may be at a discounted interest rate. It's best not to do that, but maybe you have to discount their payments a bit. Maybe you can promise them that if they can just pay consistently for the next 6 to 12 months, you might forgive the missed payments that they made or that they have, or maybe you'll tack that on to the end of the mortgage. So let's say they're $5,000 in arrears because they missed 6 months of payments. You could say, well, look, if you can pay consistently for the next 12 months, we'll put that $5,000 at the end of the mortgage. So we'll just increase the principal amount that you have to pay. But you can pay that over the next 20 years, right? So it could be something like that. It could be changing the payment date. Maybe just the way things line up with the way they get paid. You could change the date that the payment is due. Maybe the whole payment structure. Maybe it's the interest rate. It could be anything. Okay. So there's lots of flexibility that you have to be able to change, and we call it a loan modification, to modify their mortgage to help them get back on track, but also help you make money in the investment by getting them paying again, right? So first thing you want to do though is get them on that trial payment plan, showing that they're serious and that they can actually perform. Okay, so get them to show proof that they can be consistent in their payments, and then you'll modify the loan thereafter. Okay, and you have the right to modify the loan because you are the lender when you buy that mortgage note. One thing you do want to do is you want to get them to show seriousness, that they're serious about keeping their home and getting back on track by coming to the table with what we call skin in the game, right? So if they're serious about staying in the home, we want to collect a few months of payments up front. Same way if you're selling somebody a house, right? Lenders want to see, they want you to show that you have some down payment. You want, most banks will want you to show 20% down, 30% down when they lend you the money to buy a house, right? They want you to have skin in the game, and it's the same thing here. So we want the borrower to be able to come up with some money up front to show that they're serious, and then we'll put them on a trial payment plan. And if they can perform for the 6 or 12 months like they say they're going to, then we can modify the loan for them long term, and hopefully they're well on their way to solving their problem, keeping their home, and making their payments on time. Okay, so that's what we hope for. The alternative, which I'll talk in the next video, would be if they can't get paying again, what we would do. But in this video, we're going to just talk about getting them performing again. Okay, now what can we do once they're performing again? Well, obviously we could keep that note, and we've got a great source of cash flow. But what we can also do, if they've been paying for 12 months, it's now a performing or a re-performing mortgage note, and we can actually sell that note at a higher price to a hedge fund or another note investor that's looking for performing notes. So let's say that the mortgage balance is $100,000. We are able to buy that non-performing note for $50,000. Okay, so we bought it at 50 cents on the dollar. So now we have the ownership of that note where the borrower owes us $100K, but we only put in $50K. All right. Well, if we get them performing again for 12 months, we could sell that as a re-performing note for 80 cents on the dollar. So we might be able to find an investor or hedge fund to buy that re-performing loan at 80,000. So the balance is 100,000. We sell it for 80,000 to that investor, but we paid 50 for it. So you can see where the profit comes in. The other thing is when you buy a non-performing loan at a discount, the interest rate that the borrower is paying is not the return on investment that we are going to be getting if we can get them performing again. So let's just say that $100,000 loan mortgage balance, we buy it for $50,000, okay? And let's say that the borrower's interest rate is 8%. Well, they're paying 8%. Let's say that the original loan amount was $100,000. They're paying 8%, amortized over, say, 30 years. They're paying at 8% mortgage payment, principal and interest, okay, at 8%. But because we only have $50,000 invested, that 8% becomes, I don't know the math, I'd have to look it up, but something around like somewhere between 16 and 18% return for us because we paid we paid half price for that loan. Okay, so that's how buying non-performing loans at a discount, that's how we can earn a very high rate of return if we can just get them performing again. Okay, so if you have any questions about non-performing loans, feel free to post your questions and comments below. I'm happy to answer them. And if you're interested in how you can get involved investing in performing and non-performing mortgage notes, you can schedule a call with me. Go to talkwithcalewing.com and we can see how we can get you plugged into some of our non-performing loan deals. Take care.